Disclaimer. From confronting a defendant accused of injuring a child through reckless actions.
Did you understand you're charged with injury to a child, bodily injury intentionally or knowingly? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison.
To battling a man whose bizarre behavior raises questions of accountability and mental health.
Based upon the police report, that bizarre behavior was drug-induced.
Here are 8 times crazy criminals got sentenced by Judge Boyd for their actions. Starting with the offense of a man causing injury to a child. In this courtroom, the proceedings focus on the case of Valentine Sanya, who was charged with injury to a child, a third-degree felony, meaning he intentionally or knowingly harmed a child.
Mr. Saldana, you're here for a plea deadline date. So did you have a chance to internalize what I was telling you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So do you wish to have a jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, State, are you all going to be proceeding on the possession 1 to 4 or the injury to child?
The injury.
All right. So how long is this trial? How long will this trial take? All right. So Ms. Ferguson, if we could set this for a jury trial first thing.
Your Honor, good morning. Frankie Sandoval on behalf of Mr. Saldana. Your Honor, I have some time this afternoon. Would it be possible for Mr. Saldana to and I to confer just a little bit longer?
Sure.
We'll get the jury trial date, but just to make sure that we are all on the same page, as it were.
Okay, sure. Most definitely.
I appreciate it, Judge. Thank you.
The annoying part is that this guy here has the audacity to abruptly challenge the indictment and evidence used against him, indicating he wants to reserve his comment.
Your Honor, can I speak on the record?
What do you want to say?
I would like to object to the indictment and the evidence they used for the indictment, and I'm also reserving all my rights.
Mr. Saldana, why are we talking?
All right, so let me explain something to you, Mr. Saldana. I understand what you're saying. I'm internalizing what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is what I'm going to say, and I want you to internalize what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
If you need open heart surgery, are you following me with this scenario?
Yes, ma'am.
And the doctor tells you, hey, you need open heart surgery, and I'm going to do the open heart surgery. Do you go to the library, read a book, and tell the doctor, hey, I know you're doing open heart surgery on me, and this is the scalpel you should be using, and this is the stitch you should be using, and this is the way you should perform that surgery?
Judge Boyd immediately turned the heat up on understanding what Sanya was trying to do and gave him a metaphor on open heart surgery and strictly maintained he trusts the legal counsel.
No, ma'am.
See, and people think that attorneys just talk, oh, I can do that. All they're doing is talking, but behind their talking comes a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. And everybody thinks that they can do that. So, for example, with regards to an objection to the indictment or objection to the evidence used for the indictment, that's something that your attorney will be taking care of if legally there's a reason for it to be. If he determines that legally there's no grounds for it, then he's not going to go forward with it. That's the way it works. So your attorney wants to have a chance to talk with you. I'll let you speak with him in the box. And what date, Ms. Ferguson? All right. Your jury trial is going to be July 2nd. If you want to do something with this case, you can do something with it today, or either what's going to happen is you're going to be set for jury trial on July 2nd.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, just for advanced information, I have a conflict on the 3rd. I'm a prosecutor for a local municipality, and we have court on the 3rd.
Oh, we'll work around it.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, so just have a seat in the box, but your jury trial date is going to be July 2nd.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 2324, State of Texas versus Valentine Saldana. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Marjorie Hillman for the state.
Defense?
Your Honor, good afternoon. Frankie Sandoval on behalf of Mr. Saldana.
Are you Mr. Saldana? Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Saldana, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney, and did you understand it?
No.
All right, you need to speak up.
No.
All right, counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are waiving the enhancement paragraph, and we're proceeding on the underlying offense.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with injury to a child, bodily injury intentionally or knowingly? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're moving very slow with your answers. All right, do I need to speak up for you?
I think everybody can hear me pretty clearly. Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm sorry, what?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you understanding everything?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you understand if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea? If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
In my opinion, yes, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Saldana, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
No, ma'am.
All right, do you want to go to a jury trial?
If I'm not satisfied with the way I'm being represented, no, ma'am. I don't want to go to trial.
All right. All right, so this is your attorney. This is what I know. We can go off the record. Here's the thing. An attorney will tell you this is what the state is offering you. You can either accept it or reject it. This is a case that the state has made the decision to waive the habitual. If we were proceeding of the habitual, you know what your minimum is?
Ma'am.
What?
25.
And so you're saying you're not satisfied with your attorney when the state is not proceeding on the habitual.
I'm right. Yes, ma'am. I'm right.
What does that mean?
All right.
All right, we're back on the record. Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
As part of his plea agreement, Sonia was sentenced to 10 years in prison and barred from having contact with certain individuals.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There are no applications. The state is taking in consideration County Court Cause number 722472, 2024 CR 3082. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, and there's to be no contact with the complainant. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition? Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent? Did you understand that to be your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Did you review the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contents.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
No.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
In the interest of justice, that would be our request, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, Mr. Saldana presents himself before you, accepting responsibility for the matter before you. As the court is aware, Mr. Saldana is currently on parole on a previous case. He would respectfully request, and I make this request on his behalf, that although we understand and he understands not binding, we would ask that the sentence that will be imposed today by this honorable court run concurrently with whatever actions parole takes on his former case.
All right. And what are the parole case numbers?
Your Honor, Mr. Saldana, the burglary of habitation, Your Honor, case out of the 226 District Court, case number 2014 CR 10282B as in boy.
Mhm.
Yes, Your Honor, that's the open parole matter that, again, Mr. Saldana is aware it's not binding, but he would respectfully request this court make a notation that it's the court's desire that it run concurrent.
All right, this court is going to do, as previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. The court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. This will run concurrent with 2014 CR 10282B. Take in consideration County Court Cause number 722472, 2024 CR 3082. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Mallory, Malerie, Saldana, Jaden Saldana, Jayden, and Irene Portelis. Is there anything else with regards to sentencing from either side?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Not on behalf of Mr. Saldana, Your Honor, we appreciate the courtesy extended by the court and the state in allowing us to address this matter this afternoon.
All right. And then did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, and also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right. Those documents go to the defense attorney. All right, we can go off the record. Your minimum is 25 years in the prison. You understand? Your attorney was able to get you less than the 25 years. Do you understand? And I don't know what you don't understand. It appears that prison is not teaching you what it should be teaching you. But if you come back out and you commit another offense or alleged to have committed another offense, potentially based upon whatever offense that may be, you're looking at a minimum of 25 years. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
On behalf of Mr. Saldana, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
From a guy who couldn't appreciate his lawyer saving him from 25 years behind bars to another who crossed the line with a crime so vile, Joe Hernandez, who appears to be involved in an incident that led to erratic, bizarre behavior. The plea agreement involved Hernandez accepting 4 years in prison and a $1,500 fine.
Joe Hernandez?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
All right, Judge, he's on his way up. For your edification, this was a plea that we entered in front of Judge Angelini for 10 deferred.
Oh, no, I remember.
Okay, well, I'm just going to fill you in on what's going on there today.
All right. What's happening today?
So I asked the DA if he would be willing to consider the 10 deferred. He said, let me think about it. We did enter the plea fully and officially on the 4 silent. Mr. Hernandez then tells me he wants me to put in a motion to dismiss for prejudice. And I told him there is no such thing because, you know, judges bust plea bargains all the time. That doesn't give you a right to dismiss. And so then he says, well, he wants a jury trial. And I said, well, we have entered the plea on the 4 silent, so the judge may or may not allow you to withdraw your plea. And then that's what he wants to speak to you about.
All right.
To make things worse for himself, this shameless guy tried using the fact that he did not fully understand what he was signing to get away with his crime.
All right. We can go on the record.
Yes, ma'am. I just didn't understand what I was signing. And
Excuse
She
me.
hasn't
I'm
started
sorry.
yet.
I'm sorry.
All right, and let me stop you right there. All this thing where people say they don't understand what they were signing, based upon what is the information that I've received, that first it was 10 years deferred and the judge denied it, and then it came back to a silent offer. Yeah, everybody understood. Court is calling 2023 CR 10221, State of Texas versus Joe Hernandez. Can I have parties announced for the record, for the state,
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
for the defense?
Suzanne Kramer.
All right, and are you Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, a plea was entered in this case on, let me see what date is stamped on here, on April 22nd, 2024. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, and the state is silent on the defendant's application. All right, with regards to the plea bargain agreement, the court, of course, does not have the PSI because we're coming back. Can someone tell me what his criminal history is?
Judge, I don't have a file on that.
Basically, I could be off on this, but my memory is some minor misdemeanors and no felony conviction.
That appears to be correct.
All right. So counsel, do you wish to have a PSI done or do you wish the court to make its ruling?
Honestly, Judge, based on his criminal history, and of course, you don't have the benefit of the interview with him, but Mr. Delgado Escobar and I can fill you in on part of the, I think it was part of this plea bargain too, was evaluation for Mick. There are definitely some mental health issues going on. You can tell by reading the report, but you do not have the benefit of having that in front of you. But I do feel confident, of course, it's up to him, to go forward today.
All right. So I am reading the police report, and based upon the police report that I've read that are in the stipulation, there is documentation of bizarre behavior. And I don't know, based upon the police report, if that bizarre behavior was drug induced or if there's some sort of mental health issues.
Which is why I think we had dual, right, with Mick, or was it just Mick?
I'm making those.
I mean, based on my time, and certainly I'm not an expert in any way, but I would tend to think it might have been both, but definitely some mental health issues.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Joe Hernandez.
All right, so Mr. Hernandez, have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental health issues?
No, ma'am.
All right, not even in your childhood?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Drug use?
No, ma'am.
You're telling me you never used any drugs?
No, I'm an alcoholic, yes. I drink, but that's it.
All right, so in the stipulation, they're saying that you were exhibiting bizarre behavior.
Somebody was trying to take my life that night, and I was just trying to save my life. I was asking for help, and I didn't want to die that night. Somebody came at my door trying to kill me,
And I did.
and I ended up at the hospital. I called the cops. She has the phone record that I called the cops asking for help. I ended up at the hotel. I did everything wrong, yes, but I was just trying to save my life that night. I didn't want to die that night. I didn't want somebody to take my life for no reason. That's the God's honest truth. And I'm here fighting this. I don't have mental issues.
Oh, I mean, if you want a jury trial, we'll give you a jury trial.
I'm 34 years old.
No, if you want a jury trial, you can have a jury trial. That's your question.
Or you can request the judge to give you deferred, and then that way you know what the end result's gonna be.
I have a right to face my accuser, Your Honor.
Judge Boyd stepped in immediately to clarify that people often misunderstand their legal rights, thinking they can withdraw their plea based on dissatisfaction or misunderstanding.
Now, here's the thing, and this is what I don't think people understand. We can go off the record. Everybody thinks that they can be an attorney without a license. They want to throw around magic words like Jack and the Beanstalk. Oh, let me throw right to accuser, right to confront. Let me throw, I want a dismissal. The question is, do you want a jury trial? Yes or no? And let me explain something to you. If you say you want a jury trial, this train is going to a jury trial. This train is not at the last minute. Oh, I see witnesses walking in the door, so therefore I'm deciding to enter a plea bargain agreement. If you want a jury trial, court will give you a jury trial. You will get a quick, fast jury trial. So you want to discuss that with your attorney? You can. You all want to discuss that?
I'm good with the jury trial.
Do you want to discuss that with your client?
I think based on my conversation with him earlier this morning that he is, because of what happened the other day, it just took him off of pleading and he wants his jury trial.
All right. We're coming back on June 3rd.
Thank you, Judge.
And you will have your jury trial. And your plea deadline date has expired.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Now, while Joe Hernandez's annoying behavior in court was enough to frustrate a seasoned judge, but then even his twisted actions looked mild compared to the chaos that James stirred up in court. This arrogant guy, James, was involved in a car accident that resulted in serious injuries to passengers and intentionally drove away without helping.
Texas versus James Madrone. Do I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brian Grimmer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Ronald Geyer.
Did you understand you're charged with failure to stop and render aid, serious bodily injury? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor.
Where is Donkey Lady Bridge? Now, it states in here that they had met you through a lease. OP1 said they were at the complainant's house when the group of males showed up in Unit 1. Unit 1 is the vehicle. She said they decided to go to the Donkey, D-O-N-K-Y, Lady Bridge, but instead ended up driving around. Where is this Donkey Lady Bridge?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. I've never been there in my life.
Are you still driving a vehicle?
No.
How old are you?
21.
If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? Before you answer no, that you are going to be drug tested today. Don't say yes. Just tell me what you're going to be positive for.
Probably, maybe a little bit of marijuana.
And what else?
That's it. I don't do anything else.
What do you do with the rest of your day other than marijuana?
I work.
Where?
I would work at Bohannon's.
All right, what do you do at Bohannon's?
I'm a dishwasher and trash stuff.
So you have a car accident and your go-to is to leave. Why would you leave?
Now, being dumb is no excuse for showing no remorse despite knowing those people were injured. This clown tried attempting to save himself, claiming he didn't fully grasp the severity of the situation.
A car accident.
Just everybody had left and I just left myself.
Well, no, everybody didn't leave because there were two
Yes,
people
there's-
remaining in the car trapped and somebody had to help them out. So why would you leave injured people behind in the vehicle?
I was one of those people injured in the car. And then I got out, they held me out and then I walked home.
Okay, this is not where he's gonna pretend he wasn't driving, is it?
We're pleading no contest, Your Honor.
Oh, so again, why would you leave someone behind in a vehicle that's injured?
You got out. Did you go to where they were sitting on the curb and speak with you?
No.
Okay.
No. Did you call for help for anyone? Why not?
Just being ignorant.
You see, let me just tell you what I know about life from my time on the plane. And I think I can say this because I have more of my life behind me than in front of me.
Yes.
Is that big things somehow ends up snowballing for young people into bigger things. Number one, there shouldn't have been any speeding. Number two, nobody should have taken any drinks and driven. And number three, if there's an accident, you call somebody. If you would have stayed and helped, if you would have called somebody, guess what? We wouldn't be here for a failure to stop and render aid. So how are you getting around town without driving?
I take the bus, I'll walk if I have to. I have a daughter that I have to support, so. I
How
gotta-
old is your daughter?
She just turned one, March 13th.
Are you and the mother together or no?
Sort of. We talk. We're not married, so we don't live together.
Does anyone know the amount of what the restitution will be? Any idea?
I don't, Judge. I know our advocate is working on that. I don't know how much, if any, restitution is going to be outstanding.
All right. If there's an issue about restitution, just let the court know and we have a restitution hearing.
Thank you, Judge.
How far did you go in school?
I stopped at 11th grade.
Why?
Just struggling with my family.
What does that mean?
Like, I have to take care of my little brothers sometimes, most of the time, because my mom is just not healthy. So I'm really like their dad, and I'm always there to help them out and stuff like that. So
What do you mean she's not helping? Where is she?
she lives with her mom. Yeah, she lives with my grandmother.
And so how old is your little brother?
My little brother, he's 13.
So where is your little brother living?
He lives with me with my uncle.
So was child protective services involved?
Yeah, they're talking to my mother right now. So there's a case, I think, that's open with my mother.
So what are you planning on doing for the rest of your life? Are you going to be working at Bohannon's or are you doing something else?
No, I was gonna work at Bohannon's for a little bit until I get my own apartment and then get my GED and eventually try to join into the military with my friend.
Well, I always tell people you can't keep saying you're gonna, because you're gonna wake up and 5 years of your life will have passed you by. You understand? Cats 1 and 2, was there some sort of theft involved? Is there a reason for cats 1 and 2?
The case that was TIC was a burglary of a habitation, Judge.
All right, so here's the thing about burglary of habitations, right? I haven't been presented with any evidence, so I don't know what it says. But what I do know is that entering people's homes without their permission, it's going to end up resulting in one or two things for you. One, it's going to end up being a prison trip, and burglary of habitations range of punishment is 2 to 20 years. Or either you're going to break into somebody's home and you're going to be shocked to find that they are at their home, and you may end up being shot or killed. And you know what people are going to say? It was justified. You're in somebody's home, you're not supposed to be. So I'm going to put down cats 1 and 2, but I can give you cats 1 and 2 course in 2 minutes. Don't take what does not belong to you, which people should have learned in preschool. And when you go to someone's home, only go if you're invited. And then when they ask you to leave, leave. Life is so simple. People make it so much difficult than it has to be. So cats 1 and 2, and the MRT, which is supposed to teach you right from wrong, which again, we should learn that in preschool, right? If everybody would treat others the way they would like to be treated, you will need the MRT course. So remember that as you're taking that course. I'm gonna want him tested for levels, and those levels need to start going down. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay.
There should be regular Zoom recording. Mr. Madrone can hear you. Mr. Madrone, Ms. Pettis has some words to say to you. I require that everyone treat everyone with respect, so just listen and internalize what he's saying. You may proceed.
After everything.
To make matters worse for him, he arrogantly gave a nonchalant look while the injured girl was making her comment, despite the girl's readiness to forgive him. James couldn't even say his sorry.
I don't think that you should be in prison or, but I did suffer injuries that are like for a lifetime. And I just want you to understand that because I did go through all of that, you do deserve to go through some kind of consequence. Did I cut off?
Yes, you did.
They keep calling me that, so I'm sorry. But yeah, that's all I have to say. But I do forgive you. Like, it happened. It's been a long time already, but I just didn't, I hope you just know where I'm coming from, James.
All right, thank you so much. Do you all need to speak with her?
I don't believe so. We have contact. We can talk to Ms. Pettis after this. Thank you, Ms. Pettis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, probation will go over conditions with you.
Just when you thought you'd seen the worst of it, this same guy appears in court again. Still went on to violate all the terms of his probation. James failed to report for probation in December 2022 and January 2023.
Are you the same James Madrone who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 2437 for the offense of failure to stop and render aid serious bodily injury on March 21st, 2022? For a period of 10 years. Is that you?
Yes.
State.
Violated condition number 4 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, James Madrone, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January and December 2023 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
State.
Your Honor, we waived the other violations alleged in the motion.
No objection.
All right. Mr. Madrone, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, I understand.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
It's not, Your Honor. We're going open. We are asking for the 10 years, Your Honor. I believe the defense might be heard on.
All right. Defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're requesting that he be placed on probation, that he be given weekly UAs and intense supervision. Basically, Judge, this was a lot dealing with financial issues. He has 2 small children that he was responsible for, living with his grandmother at the time. He's now presently employed. I believe he has the resources now to continue taking drug testing and support his children. So I think basically, Judge, if we do weekly UAs and ISF, put him back, not ISF, but intense supervision, that he's able to complete the probation successfully. You have anything to add, James?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
James Bradford.
All right, it says here that you didn't talk to the manager and you left when asked to stay in the lobby by the probation officer.
This arrogant guy went on to give silly, inexcusable excuses like financial burdens, lack of transportation, and needing to care for his children.
Your Honor, I was my grandmother, thankful for her that she helped me with my burdens when I had to do these reports and everything, and she would have my kids in the car while I'll be reporting. So at that time, I really didn't have too much time to be there due to my being responsible for 2 children. So that was just that. At that time, that was it.
Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. Your grandmother is helping you with your children.
Yes.
And how old are your children?
3 and 1.
All right, so she's helping you with the 3 and 1 year old. So you're telling me your grandmother drives you to see your probation officer and then says, I can't wait.
Yes, Your Honor.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
It's just like I have a real no support, really none. It's just me out there.
All right, so your grandmother is not supporting you.
Well, in a way she is, in a way.
All right, and then it says that They tried to have virtual meetings with you and you kept rescheduling and they allowed you to reschedule it and reschedule it and reschedule it.
Again, I had financial burdens.
So you didn't have a cell phone?
No.
You couldn't get a ride by via bus?
Your Honor, my grandma lived in Leon Valley and she moved over there by Lackland Air Force Base, and I did not have reliable transportation.
Oh, no. I know for a fact that there's transportation by via for Lackland.
Oh.
And you know how I know there is that? Because one time I made a mistake and got on the looper, which I believe is the 510, and it takes you all around the city. And I was like, wow, this is where the bases are.
Yes, but where I had to report was over there by 1604 in Bandera.
Via.
Yes, Your Honor. They canceled that bus route. I know it sounds like if I'm making it up or not, but yes, they did cancel that bus route for that reason. That drive was very, very extreme.
Did you pick up the phone, call probation and say, hey, this
Yes,
is
Your
where
Honor.
I am? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
Mr. Madrone, my name is Hank Wilkins. If I ask you anything you don't understand, just let me know and I'll try and rephrase it, okay? Do you know the last time you reported?
The last time I reported was
This year?
yes.
It was this year? So you just promised when the probation thinks the last time you reported is November. Did you ever do the CATS theft course?
No.
Did you do the CATS 2 theft course?
No.
Did you do the moral recognition therapy?
No.
Did you do anything on probation?
I had parenting classes that were available online, which I did do, and it waived over my community service.
I'm sorry to interrupt. How can you do the parenting classes online,
They
but
were
you
for
can't
free.
report? No. But you can't report to probation online. Explain that to me.
I did report to probation online every time I had a Zoom meeting, and when it was in person, it was hard for me to be able to report due to my lack of transportation.
Do you remember telling probation in January of this year?
Unsurprisingly, this crazy guy made the biggest mistake by telling his probation officer the judge won't do anything. Crazy, right? I don't know what makes this dumb, arrogant guy think he'll be given another chance at probation after violating the rules.
They're not going to do anything?
No.
You remember telling them, I know the judge will reinstate me? You understand that when you pled to this offense, that's a third-degree felony, right? You're looking at up to 10 years in prison?
Yeah, I do understand. Yes, I understand.
And you knew that, and you still didn't do these conditions of probation, right? You didn't do the
No.
moral recognition therapy?
Not that I had faced financial burdens, so I did not have support from the mother of my children. She was attending school at the time, but now I have a reliable job. I have the means to prove to the court that I could be responsible in finishing my term.
Seems like the easiest thing to do would be to report, though. You didn't report it all this year, right?
No, because she said that she was gonna file a motion to revoke, and I had said that, okay, that we have to do what we have to do. That's simple. That's what I had said in that response.
I'll pass the way, John.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Probation, was there any restitution for Elise Perez and Kimberly Soto? All right. So this is what the court is going to do.
With full trust in Judge Boyd, James was sent.
The court is going to find violation of condition number 4 true. The court is going to find you guilty. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. With regards to punishment, state, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we're asking for the 10 years in prison. This is a third-degree felony. This is a SBI, Your Honor. Some other cases we're taking into consideration of this plea. The defendant he didn't do much of anything on probation. I was trying to get some more information today. None of the answers are very satisfying. So we're asking for 10 years in prison. Your Honor.
Defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, I asked that he be sent, continued on probation and sent to ISF for a period of time to get his thoughts together. Be able to get out on the street and be a productive member of society and also a father for his 2 children.
All right. Oh, yes. You wanted to add something?
May I address the question?
Sure.
Yes, I would like to say that I would like to suggest no tolerant probation where I may be supervising weekly UAs. I do not use drugs, and or an outpatient program, intense outpatient program that I can prove to the court where I can be responsible in completing my probation successfully.
Okay. All right. This is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding violation of condition number 4 true. The court is going to find you guilty. The court will sentence you will sentence you to 8 years in the prison. There's to be no unsupervised contact with the minors. Court will give you credit for any time served, and the court will request the therapeutic community. Did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right. You do have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on deferred adjudication. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you. We can go off the record. Here's the thing. I can't force them to place you in the therapeutic community. You'll have to request that. And then it's completely up to them whether or not they place you in the therapeutic community.
Your Honor, what was the consequence again?
Oh, you're going to prison for 8 years.
I'm going to prison for 8 years.
Yes.
And that's the done deal.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good luck to you. Okay.
However, this next weirdo is under fire for something far more different and disturbing. Christopher Dunning is in court for sentencing after pleading no contest to a charge of assault causing bodily injury to his wife, Lori.
So on the record, court is calling 2023 CR 3065, State of Texas versus Christopher Dunning. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state defense?
Ricardo Briones for Mr. Christopher Dunning.
And are you Christopher Dunning?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We're here for sentencing. You entered a plea of no contest and applied for deferred adjudication on May 13th. According to your plea bargain agreement, the state proceeded on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury, family as a Class A misdemeanor, and the state recommended deferred adjudication. All right, and we're here. Thank you. We're here for sentencing. Any witnesses, defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe Lori Dunning is in the courthouse, in the courtroom. I would like to call her as a witness.
All right, Miss Dunning, if you'll come forward. Hello.
Good afternoon,
Good
Your Honor.
afternoon. Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
It's Lori Lynn Dunning.
All right. Defense, it's your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lori, can you spell your first name for the court reporter?
Yes, it's Lori.
And you go by Lori Lynn. It's your middle name.
Lynn is my middle name, Lynn.
And Ms. Dunning, what is your relation to Chris Dunning?
He's my husband.
And were you the complainant in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And as you know, the court agreed to give him deferred adjudication probation.
Yes.
Are you in agreement that he can have contact with you?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay. Right now, generally, these things are given a no contact order. Are you asking the court today to modify that to a no harmful or injurious contact order?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you all been married?
We've been together since 2000, right after 9/11, 2001, but we've gotten married in 2004.
And as far as you know, you haven't filed for divorce. You want to continue being in a relationship with him, correct?
Correct.
And you would like him to be able to do his community supervision at y'all's residence, correct?
That's correct.
Great. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. So do you all have any children in the household?
No, we have no children.
All right. So you said y'all were married, but when did you first meet him?
It was right after 9/11, so 2001.
And so this physical abuse that happened, is that the first time?
Yes.
All right. So what caused it?
I believe our marriage was not in the best shape. Both of us, I think, had become complacent and just weren't taking care of each other ourselves. And I think he was dealing with some mental health issues. We're both nurses, so I could identify what I thought was maybe some bipolar issues that, based on my inattention maybe to the marriage, I think it threw him into some paranoia and behaviors that he's never exhibited before.
All right, I understand that you're saying that there were things that were happening in the marriage or things that you were going through. I don't understand how it escalated though to what I read in the police report.
With just a various accumulation, I think I disconnected and withdrew a lot. That took him into a state of, he felt I was leaving and like taking everything, and I think he lost control. So he was seeing his life fall apart right there.
So, because it became very violent from what I'm reading.
Yes.
And so I understand that maybe things are happening in the marriage, and I can't force people to do counseling, because for counseling, you need two people. And part of the conditions that I set is supposed to be conditions to protect all parties involved. And I know you're an adult, he's an adult, but sometimes as an adult, we have to be protected from ourselves. And what I can tell you is what I will do is he needs some treatment under his belt before I allow him to have contact with you. And when I say treatment under his belt, I mean he needs to do some violence courses. I know the agreement that you made with the family violence prosecutors were to reduce this, but it's saying that he choked you. And you know, choking somebody where they're having problems breathing, that's very up close and personal. And it's not something, from what I'm reading in the police report, it's not something where you're doing something from a distance. That's sort of like up close and personal. And then you have to hold it for a while for somebody not to be able to breathe. So I'm not trying to destroy your marriage. Sometimes people have to go through their marriage and go for it as long as they want to. But I need to just make sure that he has some classes or something where he can internalize what his role in this was, right? I know you're saying that you had a role to play in this as well, but I'm only here for the fact that he choked you in anger. And so I need to make sure that he receives the counseling that he needs, because otherwise this relationship is not going to work anyway. Because whatever issues you all had before he got to this point, those issues still exist. It's just that you all have not been discussing them because he's in custody at the Bexar County Jail. So what I find in cases like this, individuals need to work on themselves. While I'm forcing him to work on himself, you need to work on yourself as an individual. Then once everybody, you and he both, are able to look at your relationship objectively and see if this is a relationship that truly should continue or not, you'll be in a better position to make that determination. So for now, I'm not going to allow any contact. He can come back in 3 months. By then, he should have done some classes, because I'm going to order the batterers intervention prevention classes for him. And he's shaking his head over there upset now. So that tells me he needs to be in some classes, because he's not internalizing and he doesn't understand the reason why we're here is because he choked you. And the reason why this is reduced to a Class A misdemeanor, I'm sure it's because maybe you didn't want to come in and testify, and the state is still trying maybe to protect you by having some form of probation for him. So that's where we are. I'm not going to allow contact. That's where we are.
May I say?
Sure.
Okay, so the incident I know was over a year ago. Chris, for his reasons, had a bond out and didn't turn himself in. So we have been living together for the last year with no incidences or fear that I fear from him. And I think that says a lot.
It's crazy how this man's wife, the victim, is very serious about advocating for a lighter sentence for her husband.
I do agree on the counseling for both of us and him.
I mean, here's the thing. It's 3 months for him to start classes. Neither of us are teenagers here. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's 3 months. It's the end of the world. It's 3 months. As we can tell, time goes by quickly. Heck, it's almost Christmas and that's come around very quick. We're almost about to be into 2025. And what I can tell you, what I have discovered, sometimes people are on their best behavior when they have cases pending. And you know why they're on their best behavior when they have cases pending? Because they don't want to go back to jail. And sometimes, and we can go off the record, sometimes I've been a defense attorney and I've represented people who've been charged, both males and females, with being violent with their partner. And you know what I would always tell them? You had better be the nicest person you can be. You had better get your life in order. Here's some counseling. Would they take that advice? Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. My only job was to represent them and get them a favorable outcome. And you know what ended up happening? 9 times out of 10, maybe 2 years later, I get a phone call. They're charged with another assault case against the same person or either against someone else. And you know why that's the case? Because when you have charges that are pending, whatever the issue was that made them be violent, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just sitting in the closet waiting for itself to come out. All right. All right. But thank you so much for coming in. Okay. Thank you. All right. We can go back on the record.
Christopher was required to undergo treatment before any leniency or contact could be reconsidered, which I think is not a bad sentence coming from Judge Boyd.
This is what the court is going to order. The court is going to place you on 2 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. I'm going to order the BIPP course. There's to be no contact with Lori, Lori, Dunning until further notice, and probation. Once he has completed, been in the BIP course for at least 3 months, you can always come back and the court will reconsider. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs, proof of employment within 30 days.
I'm disabled.
Pardon?
I'm disabled.
All right, just a second. Proof of employment within 30 days or proof of SSI. What's your disability?
Head injury.
All right, proof of SSI within 30 days. If not, there's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And just a second. I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month. It's to be random. And so for the first 3 months, 1 time per month, and then thereafter to be random, but no less than 1 visit every 3 months. There is to be 80 hours of community service restitution. He can either do the 80 hours of community service restitution, or I'll allow him to pay $7.25 per hour to a charity of his choice. It can either be San Antonio Food Bank, or if he wants to pay $50 to Crime Stoppers, he can pay $50 to Crime Stoppers. In just 1 moment. And we'll do a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, or if he has his own personal doctor, he can go to his personal doctor. Probation, is there anything else that's needed? All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? Sir, is there anything else you need from the court?
Well, I have to go back to jail.
No, you'll be released. You just cannot live with your wife. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, I did.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes.
Where do I go? I don't have any family or anywhere to go.
You can go to Haven for Hope. You can go to Lifetime Recovery.
Is that across the street? Do you have directions?
Oh, probation will let you know where that's located at.
And will they provide me with counseling?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck to you.
Though Christopher's actions towards his wife are very worrisome, this next weirdo's offense is crazy. Maria Cisneros is charged with 2 different offenses: aggravated assault of a security officer, a serious charge with a punishment range of 5 to 99 years or life, and retaliation, a 3rd-degree felony with a punishment range of 2 to 10 years.
Maria Cisneros, court is calling 2024 CR 2158. State of Texas versus Maria Cisneros. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Doug Campbell.
And are you Miss Cisneros?
Yes, ma'am.
Cisneros? Counsel, have you received all the discovery?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review it with your client?
We have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Cisneros, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? My understanding, there are two cases for
Yes, Judge.
Ferris. And Ms. Ferguson, on this, we're going to need a date for sentencing.
I can do August 8th.
Okay. Okay. All right, and the court is also calling 2024 CR 2004. Again, counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Cisneros, did you review the application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you review the true bill of indictment? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each cause number, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. In each cause number, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions? And the cause number ending in 5H, you're charged with aggravated assault of a security officer. The range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
I mean, Maria's assault on a security officer is shocking. Just how far can someone go to retaliate against those trying to protect the public?
And the cause number ending in 04, you're charged with retaliation. That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering a plea in each of these cause numbers, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into plea agreements in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication in the cause number ending in 5-8, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to life in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication in the cause number ending in 04, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Judge.
In each of the cause numbers, do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes.
In each of the cause numbers, do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Cisneros, in each of the cause numbers, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. And each of the cause numbers, did you review the plea bargain agreement with the state
Yes, ma'am.
and with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand, according to the plea punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison? There's a $1,500 fine. The state is silent on your applications. The causes are to run concurrently. And if the court finds that a weapon was used in the cause number ending in 5-8, then the court could enter an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea?
Yes.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions? Outside the agreement, the state is asking for no contact with David Munoz and Alejandra Aguirre. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes.
Then in the cause number ending 04, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
And the cause number ending in 2158, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Case contained within Exhibit 1 and attachments, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And each cause number, did you review the documents entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Judge.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, and each cause number, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. And this will be called back on August 5th for sentencing. I'm going to order a PSI. Is there any other mental health or anything of that nature?
Judge, my client is taking, I forget what she told me, but it's a mood stabilizer. And I think Zyprexa. Thank you. She takes Zyprexa as a mood stabilizer. I'm fairly certain that she told me before we came to court that she's got depression and bipolar, but I have a feeling with the mood stabilizer, it's something more serious. So there's.
All right. So probation, that's going to be a PSI, a TAP evaluation, and a MIC evaluation. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
They tell me it's August 8th.
August. You know, that's what I wrote down when I heard it.
All right. August 8th. All right. Thank you.
In contrast, this next person has committed a far more serious evil deed. This comes from Roberto Senbon, a crazy weirdo who is charged with armed robbery, which is classified as a second-degree felony.
All right. Court is calling 2024 CR 6190, State of Texas versus Roberto Cibrian. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
What have been always for defense?
All right. And are you Mr. Cibrian?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you, counsel, have you received all the discovery?
We have, Your Honor.
Did you review it with your client?
I have, yes.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cibriano?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm adding syllables to your name. Mr. Cibrian, did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Cibrian, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with robbery? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Cibrian, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. State recommends community supervision. There's to be a restitution of $1,000 to Cavender's store. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that there be no contact with Echo, Summerall, Sumeral, or the Cavender store, that there be 200 hours of community service restitution and a TAP evaluation. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Did you review that with, any objections?
No objection.
Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Oh, we'd ask the court follow the agreement. Mr. Gibbons' father is been diagnosed with cancer and very aggressive with cancer. He wants to take care of it.
All right. So why are you stealing boots from Cabinet store?
It was just a bad decision at a bad time, just not in a mindset while I had bad, news with my dad. I had a lot of emotional things going.
So that transfer into you stealing.
It shouldn't, it's
My
not
father's ill, let me go steal some boots.
it's not an excuse for that, miss. I'm sorry.
All right, when's the last time you had employment?
Like maybe a month ago, well, it's been like 4 months now.
All right. Have you ever used any drugs?
No, man. Or like I've done drugs, but I haven't done
What have you
recently.
done in the past?
Um,
And you notice my question was, have you ever used?
oh,
drugs?
yes, I have. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
What?
Marijuana and, okay.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
I have 4 kids.
What are their ages?
3, 8, 11, and 12.
And where are they now?
They're with, their mother.
Has Child Protective Services been involved?
No, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in prison, suspended and probated for 10 years, restitution of $1,000, and no contact with Cabinet Store and Echo Summerall, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, a $2,000 fine, probated, proof of employment within 20 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, no unsupervised contact with minors, field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. And I'm going to want him to do CATS 1 and 2, their theft course. And we'll do a TAP evaluation out of custody, follow recommendations of TAP, and 120 sober meetings in 120 days, and 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once he completes parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as if committing robbery wasn't enough, it's crazy how this piece of bag tried using his father's illness as an excuse for his unacceptable crime. Unfortunately for him, Judge Boyd did not buy that. It was clear Roberto had no ground to stand on, and the court agreed to issue him 10 years in prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. Obviously, every action has its consequences.
All right, we can go off the record. So here's the thing. Don't use your father's illness as an excuse to make bad choices. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, miss. I appreciate you.
All right, thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your week.
All right, thank you.
However, after Roberto was sentenced to 10 years in prison, this next criminal's crime is quite different, as she committed a serious violent offense. Natasha Morgan stood in court, facing the weight of a violent offense that could define the rest of her life.
State of Texas versus Natasha Morgan. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Andrew Harris Sadelman.
for the defense?
Peter Calderola standing in for Mr. Humberto Saldana for
Yeah.
Miss Morgan.
And are you Miss Morgan?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right.
I got a little sore throat because the air conditioner over there in my dorm in 2 Bravo is freezing cold, and I'm sorry if my voice is low. I wasn't talking to nobody, Your Honor. I respect the judge. My mother was an Air Force pilot, 97-286, even though I broke the law before her. I apologize.
Oh, your apology is,
To a lot.
your
Several
apology is
months.
accepted.
It's horrible conditions.
Yeah. All right, so here is my question. Defense, have you had a chance to confer with her? She said that she was hearing voices or,
I take medication. I take Giodon.
all right, and do you
Yes.
believe she's currently competent?
I do so believe, Judge. I did speak with Mr. Saldana, and he expressed that his intention to go forward with this plea and Miss Morgan's intention to go forward.
All right, Ms. Morgan, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Natasha Elizabeth Lloyd Morgan, Your Honor.
All right, so this attorney is standing in for Mr. Cabanas. Do you have any objection to this attorney standing in?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right, have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report state?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and we'll continue after the state has reviewed. All right, any objections to the PSI report?
No objections.
State any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Not at this time, Judge.
All right, Ms. Morgan, if you were released, where would you be living?
I was gonna go to the Hayden, while you was gone on a vacation. I seen Judge Hahn, I believe her name is, on May the 17th, Your Honor. And she had asked me the same question that you asked me.
All right, that would probably be Judge Her.
I'm sorry, I knew it was
No
the
problem.
age.
All right, so with regards to your mental health issues, do you have a doctor that you see when you're not in custody?
No, I'm gonna roll in the I Medicaid Superior and AMCON insurance. They have Central Meds up there, but they have Center for Health down the street that they have a psychiatrist there that will be available to give me my psychiatric medication. Release if you decide that it's in your favor, in your judgment, to release me on the 10 years of probation, plea of bargain. Yes, ma'am.
All right, and state you may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to 10 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. She's going to be on the MIC caseload,
Yes, Your Honor.
and that's based upon the evaluation that the court has seen. I'm going to ask for a trauma assessment, and I'm asking for that based upon what's in the PSI report. There's to be restitution, if any, to Jerry, Jeri Brown. I'm going to do a referral to Esperanza Court based upon what I've reviewed in the PSI report. If she's not accepted into Esperanza Court, then we will, that'll be the first one. If she's not accepted there, then we'll try felony drug court. The reason why I'm suggesting these, now, here's the thing. You have issues going on with you. I'm reading the PSI report. I've read the PSI report. I've seen your diagnosis. Going to Haven Hope is not the best place for you. You need a place where one, and these programs that I'm recommending to you, they're all outpatient programs, but you are going to be in custody for the weekend. Felony drug court and Esperanza Court, they will send someone over to interview you Monday or Tuesday. And if you're accepted in those programs, you'll probably be released on Wednesday, and you'll be released to be in their program. What I can tell you is Esperanza Court and Felony Drug Court, they'll be able to help you with housing. They'll be able to help you with any mental health issues, and that's what you need. You understand? All right. And they will do it by next week. It will be done. It's not going to be done. Well, there's still a strong possibility they may be able to see you this week, but because of the holiday, it may not be 100% this week, but definitely by the following week. And counsel, if it's not done by Tuesday of next week, just come back in and we'll have it brought over and I'll do something else.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you need to be open and honest with them. You understand? All right. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. There's to be proof of employment or SSI within 45 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month until proof of stable medication compliance, and a referral to Center for Healthcare Services. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order anger management. Once that's completed, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
I wanted to ask you, am I allowed to speak?
Sure, yes.
I don't understand, I've been in psychiatric care since the age of 9 years old, state of Oklahoma and in Texas. And I just don't see how psychiatric, I mean, like everybody wants me to take medication, it seems like, for issues. But, you know, I did 20 years in prison, 12 years administration segregation. I hadn't been in trouble in 4 years. And 2 of them imprisonments was on false allegations. And then on this one, I mean,
it's crazy annoying, especially when Natasha claimed she didn't believe medication was necessary for her well-being, despite being on it while in custody. Judge Boyd stepped up immediately to remind her.
Well, here's the thing. Let me explain something to you. So with regards to medication, if the doctor says you don't need medication, if the doctor says, she just needs therapy, then that's what we'll do. But what I'm reading in the TAP evaluation, it states that you're on medication at the jail.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I do take the medication in jail issues, but I do know within my rights as the state, I've been to South Shore, Chandler, Laurel Ridge, I've been to mental hospitals. Like I said, state of Oklahoma, my mother was military, I was myself in post Oklahoma. That's court order. I mean, like medication, I don't use drugs or alcohol or anything.
Well,
like
this is
that.
what I can tell you. Legally, with medication, if you choose not to take the medication, what's going to end up happening is you may or may not decompensate. If you decompensate and become incompetent, they are probably going to take you into custody because this is considered a violent offense. And then they will seek to help you regain competency. And if they determine that medication is what will make you become competent and you choose not to take it, it will go before a judge. And then when it goes before that judge, they'll have a hearing on whether or not medication is to be forced.
So
and here's the thing, you're having an attorney to represent you at that hearing. I'm just giving you these rules and I give people conditions. You have a choice. You can follow them or not follow them. That is completely up to you. And of course, there are consequences when we make certain choices. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, sir.
Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am. I just must have signed this on May 17th.
All right. And did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you. If you need anything, just let the court know.
Obviously, Judge Boyd never steps low when it comes to making these criminals pay for their actions.